You probably think modern movies have the wildest car chases, with CGI explosions and cars flying off skyscrapers. Well, I watched over 40 films from the 70s, dug into the behind-the-scenes chaos. Get ready to dive into the 10 wildest 70s car chases and why we'll never see anything like them again. Number 10. The French Connection, 1971. What makes this car chase even crazier is that it wasn't fully legal. The director, William Friedkin, actually filmed some parts of it without getting permission from the city. That means when you see Gene Hackman driving fast through busy New York streets, those were real cars, with real people who had no idea they were part of a movie. It wasn't some controlled set with actors and extras, it was the real city, real traffic, and real risk. The chase itself is pretty wild. The Pontiac Le Mans is chasing an elevated subway train, which sounds a bit crazy when you think about it. But somehow it worked perfectly on screen. The whole scene feels messy and dangerous, and it can even make you feel a little stressed watching it because you know how risky it really was. That's actually what makes this scene so amazing. It shows just how raw and real car chases were in the 1970s. There were no special effects or safety nets like today's movies. Number 9. Vanishing Point, 1971. Imagine a white 1970 Dodge Challenger speeding down endless American highways. That's what Vanishing Point is all about. The whole film feels like one long car chase, but it's not just about going fast or escaping the police. There's something deeper going on. The car, the driver, the empty roads, they all come together to create this strong feeling of freedom, rebellion, and pushing beyond limit. The Dodge Challenger isn't just a car in the movie. It feels like its own character. It's not just running from cops, it's going up against everything the system, rules, even time itself. You feel that with every turn, every engine roar, and every dusty road the car flies down. It's more than action. It feels emotional, like the car is chasing something bigger than just an escape. And then, there's the ending. People still argue about what it really means. Some say it's tragic, some say it's peaceful. But no matter what you think, one thing is clear that White Challenger left a huge impact. Number 8. Fear is the Key, 1972. This film is one of those hidden gems from the early 70s. At first, it looks like a regular thriller, but then comes a chase that absolutely grabs your attention. The main character, played by Barry Newman, jumps into a car and races across rough roads, beaches, and even through small towns. It is wild and unpredictable, and you can tell the stunt drivers were pushing the cars to their limits. The chase is long, really long, almost like it wants to exhaust both the driver and the audience. But that is what makes it exciting. You never know what corner or obstacle is coming next. The car bounces, slides, and throws up clouds of dirt, making it feel more real than the polished Hollywood style. Many people don't know about this film, but this chase has been praised as one of the most daring of the decade. It shows how the 70s loved raw, unfiltered driving action. Number 7. The Man Who Loved Cat Dancing, 1973. This movie may sound like a quiet drama, but it hides a really underrated car chase. Burt Reynolds, who was already becoming a big star, is at the center of it. The film mixes romance, Western themes, and action, but when the cars come in, the tone shifts completely. There is a tense sequence where Burt's character tries to outrun pursuers in rough desert terrain. The chase is different from the usual city-style ones. Here, the dust, the rocky paths, and the emptiness of the land make the action stand out. Instead of sharp turns and traffic, the challenge comes from uneven ground and the risk of rolling the car. You can feel the weight of every bump and skid, and Burt Reynolds' calm but determined presence makes the scene even cooler. This chase may not be as famous as others, but it shows how creative 70s filmmakers were in using different settings for car action. And if you think dusty desert chases are wild, wait until you see what happens when a real daredevil brings his stunt show style to the big screen. Trust me, you'll never look at car chases the same way again. Number 6. Viva Knievel, 1977. When Evel Knievel, the legendary stunt rider, decided to make a movie, people knew there would be some crazy action scenes, and Viva Knievel delivers exactly that. The film has a car chase that feels more like a stunt show brought to the big screen. Evel drives with wild confidence, taking risks that most actors would never attempt. The chase is colorful, fun, and filled with Evel's daredevil spirit. Instead of just being about running from the police or criminals, it feels like a showcase of what he could do with both cars and bikes. There are jumps, near crashes, and moments where you think the vehicle will flip over, but somehow land safely. It is not the most polished or realistic chase of the decade, but it has personality. Watching it, you realize why Evil was such a cultural icon in the 70s. This scene captures his fearless style perfectly. Number 5. Electra Glide in Blue, 1973. This film is more of a slow and thoughtful drama, but hidden inside it is a car chase that shocks you with how intense it is. The main character, a motorcycle cop named John Wintergreen, finds himself in a pursuit that feels raw and emotional. Instead of fast cars weaving through city traffic, this chase takes place on open roads where speed and skill are everything. The police bikes and cars fly down stretches of highway, and the tension builds with each second. The camera angles put you right on the road, so you almost feel the wind blasting past your face. The scene is not just about catching someone, it's about the struggle between law, freedom, and justice. It ends in a way that is tragic but unforgettable, which makes the chase even more powerful. This one showed audiences that car chases could be deep and meaningful, not just entertaining stunts. Number 4. The Italian Job, 1969, but hugely influenced the 70s. The Italian Job technically came out at the end of the 60s, but its impact rolled straight into the 70s. The famous chase with the Mini Coopers is one of the most creative and fun car sequences ever filmed. Instead of muscle cars or heavy sedans, here you have 3 small minis zipping through the streets, stairs, and even rooftops of Turin, Italy. The charm comes from how playful the chase feels. The cars are not just running away, they are dancing through the city. Tight alleyways, busy markets, and sudden escapes make it a joy to watch. The drivers pull off stunts that seem impossible, and the minis handle them like little machines built for chaos. This sequence influenced so many movies afterward and showed that a car chase could also be fun, not just serious. The Italian Job became a classic because it mixed action with pure entertainment. Number 3. Le Mans, 1971. Le Mans is more than a movie. It is like a tribute to racing itself. Starring Steve McQueen, the film puts you right in the middle of the legendary 24-hour Le Mans race in France. While it is not a traditional cops and robbers car chase, the racing sequences feel just as intense, maybe even more. The sound of engines roaring, the speed of cars flying down straights, and the danger of each corner make the entire film feel like a massive chase against time and exhaustion. McQueen was a real racing enthusiast, and he made sure the movie captured every detail with realism. There are crashes, close calls, and moments where drivers push themselves beyond their limits. Watching it, you do not just see cars moving. You feel the pressure, the thrill, and the danger. Le Mans proved that sometimes the best chases are on the racetrack itself. But before we hit number 1, there's one last chase that wasn't about wild stunts or explosions. It was about changing the entire language of car chases, and every film in the 70s took notes from it. Number 2. Two-Lane Blacktop, 1971. Two-Lane Blacktop isn't your typical car movie. It's quiet, slow-burning, and strangely powerful. Starring 2 real-life musicians, James Taylor and Dennis Wilson, the film follows 2 drifters driving across the American highways in a primer gray Chevy 150. There's no big dialogue, no flashy stunts, and no dramatic soundtrack. But somehow it pulls you in. The races aren't about crashing or explosions. They're about patience, focus, and control. It's 2 drivers testing each other, not just in speed, but in nerve. Every long stretch of road feels like a staring contest between machines, where the smallest mistake could cost everything. What makes it special is the atmosphere. You feel the isolation of endless highways, the hum of the engine under the open sky, and the quiet bond between man and machine. The tension builds not through noise, but through silence, and that's what makes it so different. Two-Lane Blacktop doesn't scream for attention. It just drives forward, slow and steady, showing a side of car culture that's more about soul than speed. Number 1. Bullet's Shadow, 1968's influence on the 70s. Even though Bullet hit theaters in 1968, its impact roared straight into the 1970s and left a mark on every car chase that followed. Steve McQueen, behind the wheel of that dark green Ford Mustang, didn't just act. he created a blueprint. The way the engine growled through the streets of San Francisco, the raw tire squeals, the bouncing suspensions over hilly roads, it all felt brutally real. No flashy edits, no music cues, no fake drama. Just speed, skill, and chaos, captured with a camera that stayed low and close, like it was part of the chase. At the time, Hollywood had never seen anything like it, and once they did, they couldn't go back. Bullitt became the gold standard, a kind of guidebook for directors and stunt drivers in the 70s. You can feel its influence in films like Vanishing Point, The French Connection, and The Driver. The way the cars move, the way the camera moves with them, the way it all feels just a little too fast and a little too dangerous, that's Bullitt's DNA at work. But Bullitt wasn't just a chase scene, it was a shift, a moment that changed how action was filmed and felt. Without it, the gritty, ground-level chaos of the 1970s car chase might never have existed. So there you have it, 10 of the greatest car chases from the 70s. No CGI, no green screens, just fearless drivers, risky stunts, and real cars tearing through real roads. These scenes weren't just entertainment, they were pieces of film history that shaped how action movies are made even today. And maybe that's why we'll never see car chases like this again, because the 70s made it so raw, so real, and so unforgettable that even modern technology can't compete.